Humans have always marked their world with symbols, vast shapes carved into deserts, hillsides, and plains. Some were meant to be seen from mountaintops, others perhaps from the sky. From the Nazca Lines of Peru to massive stone earthworks across ancient civilizations, one question keeps resurfacing. Were some of these creations meant to be seen from above? And if so, who were they meant for? Today, we turn our attention away from Earth and towards Mars to examine one of the most unusual formations ever photographed on the Red Planet, a structure some have come to call the keyhole. Long before satellites or aircraft, ancient cultures on Earth created enormous geoglyphs, shapes so large they make sense only when viewed from above. The Nazca Lines in Peru are perhaps the most famous example. Trapezoids, spirals, animals, and long straight lines stretch for miles across the desert plateau. Archaeologists suggest these formations serve ceremonial or ritual purposes. Astronomers propose alignments with stars, planets, or solar events. Others believe they mark territories or communicated with the heavens themselves. Whatever their purpose, one thing is clear. Human beings have a long tradition of reshaping landscapes into meaningful symbols. So when we discover large geometric forms on another planet, it naturally raises questions. Interestingly, this idea isn't limited to ancient cultures. In the 1820s, German mathematician Carl Friedrich Gauss proposed creating an enormous geometric landform on Earth, a visual message designed to signal intelligent life to extraterrestrials. His plan involved carving a massive right triangle and squares into Siberian forests, planting crops to create contrast visible from space. The project was never built, but the idea itself reveals something important. The desire to communicate across worlds isn't new. So what if someone else had that same idea? On January 11, 2011, NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter captured a high-resolution image of an unusual formation in the Libya Montes region of Mars. Taken by the high-res camera, the image revealed a wedge-shaped structure attached to a circular dome, a shape strikingly similar to what we would call a keyhole. NASA's official caption described it as simply as an exclamation mark, but when examined closely, the structure appears isolated, standing alone in relatively flat terrain with sharp edges, symmetry, and distinct shadowing. The resolution was exceptional, about 50 centimeters per pixel. This was no blur, no artifact, it was clearly there. What made this discovery even more compelling was what came next. A search through NASA's archives revealed earlier images of the same structure taken years before. In 2007, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter's CTX camera captured the formation at a wider angle. Later that year, the Mars Odyssey spacecraft's Themis camera imaged it again. 3 separate spacecraft, 3 different cameras, different angles, lighting conditions, and resolutions. Yet the structure remained consistent. A wedge, a dome, a lone geometric formation. That consistency ruled out many common explanations like shadows, sensor errors, or momentary surface effects. Mainstream planetary scientists typically explain such formations as a result of erosion, volcanism, or geological layering, natural processes that can sometimes produce surprising shapes. Mars, after all, has experienced billions of years of wind, temperature shifts, and tectonic forces. But some researchers argue that geometry matters. In 2014, a group of scientists, including NASA and SETI researchers, published a book exploring how signs of extraterrestrial intelligence might appear, not as radio signals, but as artifacts. They warn that such signs can easily be dismissed if they resemble natural formations. In other words, we might not recognize a message even if we were looking straight at it. This is where alternative interpretations emerge. Some suggest that formations like the keyhole could be remnants of a long-lost civilization, not necessarily extraterrestrial, but ancient, perhaps even Martian. Others view it as a symbolic rather than functional, a marker, a signal, or a monument whose purpose we no longer understand. There is no claim here of certainty, only the acknowledgement that geometry, isolation, and repetition across multiple images invite deeper inquiry, much like the Nazca Lines once did on Earth. History reminds us that many discoveries initially dismissed as coincidence later became milestones of understanding. At the same time, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. The keyhole structure remains unexplained, not proven artificial, but not easily dismissed either. It sits at the boundary between geology and mystery, and perhaps that's where the most interesting questions live. As we continue exploring Mars with ever-improving technology, we may one day understand exactly what the keyhole is and how it was formed. Until then, it stands as a silent reminder that the universe may still hold stories we've yet to learn how to read. If you enjoy exploring ancient mysteries, archaeology, and the hidden stories of our world and beyond, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow the Ancient Destinations channel for more journeys into the unknown.